A planeswalker is a powerful mage who is able to travel across the planes of existence. Only 1 in a million beings is born with the spark, the essence that allows one to become a planeswalker. Click OK to continue. You'll become a planeswalker when your training is complete. In Magic: The Gathering Tactics, you'll create spellbooks of powerful creatures and spells to use against your opponent. Click a green square, and your figure will move there. Click an enemy in range, and you'll move next to it and make a melee attack. Figures that can make melee attacks exert what's called a zone of control around them. Figures that enter a square that is under a zone of control end their turn in that square. Flying figures are not affected by zones of control of non-flying figures. Move the cursor around the enemy's target square to choose which square to attack from. Move the cursor over your opponent's planeswalker and click to attack it. That is how you perform a simple melee attack. You dealt damage to the enemy based on your figure's power, but once each round, a defending figure will strike back with a counterattack of its own. Moving or attacking ends a figure's turn. You can see the turn order at the left edge of the screen, and that tells you whose turn it is next. Now, it's the opposing planeswalker's turn. Your training is proceeding well. In this chapter, you've learned how to move and attack. Moving or attacking ends a figure's turn. The turn order is displayed at the left edge of the screen. To become a planeswalker, you must learn to control the magic forces of the multiverse. Let's talk about how your planeswalker can summon creatures. Mana is the energy that powers all magic. The mana wheel displays how much mana you have in each of the 5 colors. You generate 1 mana at the start of your planeswalker's turn. This is based on the colors in your spellbook. You cast spells from your casting bar. A new spell is added to your bar at the start of your planeswalker's turn. Let's summon Rhea Dawnbringer so that she can join the battle. Move the cursor over Rhea Dawnbringer to click on Rhea Dawnbringer to cast. You can spend any color of mana to pay for a colorless mana cost. When you cast a spell with a color, you can summon a creature to any open square that is adjacent to your planeswalker. Summoning allies is vital to the success of your planeswalker. In this chapter, you've learned how to summon creatures, how to see your mana totals with the mana wheel, how you gain new mana and spells every turn, how to view creature information in your casting bar, how to pay colorless mana costs. It's time for your training to continue. You've learned how to summon a creature, but there are other weapons in a planeswalker's arsenal. Now you'll learn how to cast a spell. You need to know what a spell will do before you cast it. Take a look at one of the spells in your spellbook. Move the cursor over Lightning Bolt to see more information about. Like your creatures, each of your spells has a mana cost. You have selected the spell that will deal the damage and have paid its cost. Now all you need is a target. You can only cast spells on targets that are within line of sight of your figure casting the spell. You can mouse over different figures to see if they're within line of sight. You can also hit escape to cancel a spell at any time. You've dealt 30 damage to your opponent. Whenever a figure's health reaches 0, that figure is destroyed. Spells are powerful weapons in the hands of a planeswalker. In this chapter, you've learned how to cast spells, how to view spell information in your casting bar, how to specify targets after casting spells. Managing the abilities of your creature allies is key to victory. Creatures can move, attack, and in some cases make ranged attacks. Let me show you how that works. Your Elvish Archer is a creature that has a ranged attack. A ranged attack is possible only if the attacker has a clear line of sight to its target. Click on the opponent's planeswalker to shoot it with a ranged attack. Of course, a ranged attacker need not fear a counterattack from its target. Distance is also important as ranged attacks deal less damage if the target is outside the effective range of the attacker. Ranged attacks are powerful abilities that can help you win. In this chapter you've learned how to launch ranged attacks. Ranged attacks outside of effective range deal less damage. Each time one of your figures has a turn, the command bar appears. I'll show you how the command bar works and how to activate the abilities of your planeswalkers and creatures. The command bar displays the abilities that are available to a figure during its turn. Clicking on an ability in the command bar with a turn icon ends that figure's turn. Pass is an ability that ends a figure's turn. Defend is an ability that grants your figure plus 30 health, but prevents it from counterattacking for the rest of its round. Creatures that have just been summoned automatically begin to defend. Some creatures have other abilities in the command bar that you can use during their turns. It is now your Prodigal Pyromancer's turn. Move the cursor over the Pyromancer's ability to see more information about it. The Pyromancer's ability costs 1 red mana to use. Once the Pyromancer's ability is activated, it's like a ranged attack. Mastering the command bar allows you to use all the abilities of every figure in your spellbook. In this chapter you've learned how the command bar works. Abilities in the command bar such as Defend and Pass. Clicking an ability in the command bar with a turn icon ends a figure's turn. Information is the key to victory. Knowing the abilities of every figure in the battle allows you to plan properly. You can gain additional information about a figure by right-clicking on it. Right-click your Prodigal Pyromancer. The stats area of the detail window displays all stat information related to the selected figure. These stats include Move, how many spaces this figure can move. Initiative, the higher this figure's initiative, the sooner it takes its next turn. Power, the damage this figure deals in combat. Health, the damage this figure can take before it's destroyed. Range, the effective distance of this figure's ranged attack, if any. Note that a figure's power and health are often referred to by 2 numbers. In the lower left of the detail window are icons you can mouse over to display information about this figure's abilities, if any. In the lower right of the detail window are icons you can mouse. Information about the figures in the battle, both yours and your opponent's, will help you win. In this chapter you've learned how to view the detail window of a figure, what each stat displayed on a figure means, how to find out about the abilities of a figure, how to find out about the effects on a figure. Some of the most powerful spells of all have a variable casting cost. These spells include X in their casting costs. Let me show you how to cast one of these spells. Fireball is a spell with X in its casting cost, as before with a colorless casting cost. And your fireball is powered with mana and ready to deal damage. Now you know how to cast the most powerful spells in all of Magic. In this chapter you've learned how to cast spells that cost X, how to cast a spell that has an area of effect. Casting spells is not all there is to being a planeswalker. You can have up to 4 copies of a spell in a spellbook. Also, you can remove spells from a spellbook by double-clicking on them. Now that you've mastered the casting of spells and the creation of your own spellbook, I think that your planeswalker's spark is truly ignited. In this chapter you've learned how to add a spell to your spellbook. In the world of Dominaria, on the western coast of the Arona continent, lies the island of Teleria West, site of an academy dedicated to the advanced theoretical study. You have risen to the challenge of your instructors. You have proven yourself a powerful wizard, a true master of spells and summoned minions.